Welcome to Evolving with Ben, inspirations and motivations for everyday life. In this video, I want to share with you how I plan out my new year. How do I get started off on the right track? But also, how do I stay on track with my New Year's goals, or as I like to call them, visions? At the beginning of every new year, it's very common for people to want to establish New Year's resolutions, things that they want to improve upon throughout the year or things that they want to achieve on. Now, a few years ago, I actually stopped doing New Year's resolutions. I used to write myself New Year's resolution consistently year after year, but I came to realize that I really wasn't sticking with my New Year's resolutions. The first few weeks of the new year, I was excited, I was pumped, and I talk about my New Year's resolution constantly with friends and family. But unfortunately, by the end of week 3 of the new year, week 3, I'd stop following through with them. And as the year progressed, I forget about my New Year's resolution. Now, typically, when people come up with New Year's resolutions, they usually write them in a journal, or some people I know have done a personalized letter where they write themselves a letter at the beginning of the year and they tell themselves, by the end of this year, you've accomplished X, Y, and Z. Now, when I stopped doing New Year's resolutions, I actually transitioned over to doing a vision board. A vision board helps me stay consistent, and it's a visual tool that, if used correctly, can help you stay on track with your visions for the year, and it can also help you stay inspired and motivated. Before I tell you about my vision board and the concepts that I use to create them, let me share with you a quick story. On Christmas Day 2019, I was sitting in our family room with my husband and our 14-year-old daughter. And I got the idea, what if we did our vision boards together as a family on New Year's Eve? Mind you, we've never done that before. So before I even shared the idea with my husband and our 14-year-old, I was anticipating some kind of sarcastic remarks. So I shared the idea with them. To my surprise, my husband immediately thought it was a great idea, and he said, let's do it. My 14-year-old, however, yep, you probably guessed it, a little sarcastic. But before I get to the sarcasm, she asked me, what is a vision board? Great question. So I said to her, a vision board is a foundation. It's a map that you create with visions of what you want your life to be or things that you want to accomplish in your life. It's guidance. Now, I said to her, when you create your vision board, you're free to put whatever you want on there. Color, black and white, pictures, cutouts from magazines. You can even go on the internet and print certain items. And I said to her, this vision board will help you feel inspired throughout the year to achieve what your visions are for this specific year and beyond. Here's where the sarcasm comes in. She says to me then, Dad, what if at the end of the year I don't accomplish anything on my vision board? Does that mean that I'm a failure? And of course, right after that remark, she chuckled. However, valid question. So I had no choice but to quickly think on my feet and really think about, how am I going to respond to this question? So I said to her, no, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. Just because you put items on the vision board for the year of what you want to accomplish, and at the end of the year you came to realize that you only achieved 1 or 2 out of the 20 that you have on there, it does not mean you're a failure. So I said to her, do you know who the Wright Brothers are? And of course she answered yes. And I said to her, the Wright Brothers had a vision to put man in the air, to help man fly. So my next question was, did they achieve their vision right off the start? And of course she quickly says, no, they didn't. They failed multiple times. That is correct. The Wright Brothers failed numerous times when they first started to work towards their vision in helping man fly. So I said to my 14-year-old, did the Wright Brothers change their vision? And of course the answer was, no, they didn't. All they did was change their approach on how they got to their vision. They tried time after time and they didn't give up because they had a visual of what they wanted to achieve. But each time they executed and didn't achieve it, they didn't change that end goal. They didn't change the end vision. All they did was change the approach on how they're getting there. Look at us now. We travel all around the world every single day thanks to the Wright Brothers. So that was her aha moment. She realized that a vision board is foundation, is guidance, and it keeps you inspired, but most importantly, it's a good visual for accountability to keep you moving forward. Now, a vision board has to be done and used appropriately. For example, when I'm done with my vision board, I don't just create it, it's a one and done, and I store it away in a corner and I walk away from it and just not think about it throughout the year. You should always put your vision board somewhere where it's the last thing that you see right before you go to bed, and it's the first thing that you see when you wake up in the mornings. Why, you ask? Well, think about it this way. You have a stressful day at work, in the office, or you have a stressful day at school. Things were just not going the way that you planned them. You spilled your coffee first thing in the morning on your favorite shirt, and now you're home. You're relieved to be home, but you're so aggravated because things just did not go right. When you look at your vision board, it's the last thing that you see before you go to bed. It's a reminder of everything that you're doing has a purpose. Every struggle, every obstacle throughout the entire day has a purpose because you're working towards this. And when you look at your vision board that you created, it ignites inspiration inside of you. It fuels you with energy to say, tomorrow is a new day, and tomorrow has a new purpose, and tomorrow I will continue my road towards this. And it'll give you the opportunity to also reflect and say, what did I do today that didn't work for me that I should change my approach so that I can continue to move forward? And in the mornings when you wake up and it's the first thing that you see, it's a reminder to get your day started off on the right track. Now, how do you create a vision board? Simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, a vision board should be fun, inexpensive, and something personal close to you. You can put it on a cardboard. You can put it on a poster board. Heck, you could even get a plain white sheet of printing paper and create a vision board for yourself on that. Get creative. Have fun with it. Add color. Add pictures. Add your favorite quotes. What is it that you envision for your life from this moment and beyond? Just remember this. When you create a vision board, you don't have to cram everything that you want to achieve in your life in just this one board. And it doesn't mean that whatever you put on the board, you have to achieve it by the end of this year. Remember that it's a foundation. It's guidance. The important thing is that you get started on what your visions are for your life and beyond. So let me share with you a little bit of what I've put on my board. Now, you'll see that my board is very colorful. There are some pictures. But most importantly, one of my favorite pieces of my board on how I work this is the center. There's a picture of my family in the center of my board because everything that I do revolves around my family. They are my inspiration and they are my motivation. They are my purpose for everything that I do ties back to them, ties back to the smiles on their face, ties back to how they're feeling about our family and how they feel about themselves. Now, I've also added photos of different moments in my life because what I like to project every single day in my life is happiness, it's excitement, and pictures are a wonderful thing because pictures are a moment captured in time that you can hold on forever. And people often say that a memory you can't relive, but you can hold on to it forever. So I make it part of my vision because it reminds me to continue to live the moments in my life that I've lived in the past and make every single effort to keep that type of fun and excitement. I also have on my vision board one of my favorite quotes. And the quote says, "The only way to truly live is to be true to yourself." And I've had this quote on my vision board for the last few years now because it reminds me to stay authentic. It reminds me to stay true to my own personal beliefs and my own values. So now you see that a vision board is a real powerful tool if used appropriately. So I encourage you to create your own vision board. It's never too late and it's never too early to start a vision board. Do it as a family. Invite your friends over and make it a party. Keeps each other motivated and inspired and makes things more exciting. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Evolving with Ben, Inspirations and Motivations for Everyday Life. I invite you to leave your comments about this video down below. I also invite you to reach me via email at evolvingwithben@gmail.com and send me your comments, your thoughts, and also your suggestions. Also, share with me What is it that you do to get your year started off right? How do you plan out for your New Year's resolutions or your visions? You can also find me on Instagram at Evolving with Ben, and also follow me on Snapchat for some behind the scene recording at evolve_Ben. Thank you so much for chiming in, and let's continue to evolve together.